I'm Chris Gibbs. I was active duty in the United States Air Force for a total of 24 years. Of that, 12 was as an enlisted man and 12 as an officer, and I retired as a captain. I joined in 1973 and had active duty time for quite a while, 6 years, then was out for a while, and then re-entered the service. I went to West Point right out of high school as a cadet, and the Air Force wanted me to go to the Air Force Academy, but then they saw what my eyeglasses were. And back then, to go to the Air Force Academy, you had to be a pilot or a navigator. Well, I couldn't be either one with my prescription. So, that wasn't there. But I could march around in circles and carry a sword. So I went into the Air Force as an aircraft instrumentation electronics specialist. It was good. I worked on some really cool airplanes, everything from the biggest in the Air Force inventory, the C-5, down to the littlest, an OV-10 Bronco. It's a two-engine prop aircraft used extensively in Vietnam and Grenada and as a forward air controller. Illinois was where I first went for initial training in missile electronics, and that was about a year. Then I went to Great Falls, Montana, Malmstrom Air Force Base. It's a ICBM base. I was there for about 5 years. That's when I got out of the military. It was good up until, my wife decided she didn't want to do that anymore. So I left the military, like I say, and when I came back in, I went to Travis Air Force Base in California to work on C-5s. And then later was able to go to Germany to work on OV-10s. But there, because we had such a small mission, we got to work on almost anything that was in the inventory. We were on a small base, Sembach Air Base in Germany, and it's only about 20 minutes from Ramstein, which is like the biggest Air Force base overseas. So it's a hub. And so I got to work on a lot of aircraft that were stationed at Ramstein or transient, because when you're good, you're good. Actually, after Sembach, I came to the University of Arizona on an Air Force scholarship. They sent me here to be an aerospace engineer. I was able to get 2 engineering degrees while I was there. I was a mechanical engineer and an aerospace engineer. I went from that. They wanted me to stay and get masters, and I didn't really want to. While I was there, I divorced, and I was a single parent with 3 kids going to college. It was interesting. But then I went to the B-1 bomber, B-1B test team in Texas. I thought I was going to NASA. I had a by-name request to go to NASA, and in their infinite wisdom, the Air Force looked at my background and said, we really need you on the B-1 test team. They were having some real problems. And so I went to Dyess Air Force Base in Texas to work on the B-1 bomber. And that's where I met my present wife. And she was a maintenance officer, and I was the astro space engineer working on defensive systems for the B-1. It was a $1 billion aircraft that was supposed to be completely stealthy. You couldn't see it. It looked like a robin on a on a radar screen, except for one thing. It looked like a freight train, and they couldn't figure out why. And so I was one of the people that had to go in there and figure that out. It was really quite unusual because I always thought I was good at my job. But when I got there, I was really good. And we discovered the problem almost immediately. And so I was the lead as a second lieutenant, leading the team to fix all this. So when I left there, they gave me my choice of anything I wanted to do. I had started to date my wife, and you know, when you're a single parent, finding someone is not always easy. So I said, well, we better get married real quickly, so the Air Force will have to send us together. When we dated, and we were both on the test team, she was already a captain and you know, well along, but I was a second lieutenant, and so she outranked me by at least 5 years. So as we progressing and the test team was dissolving, we moved to Colorado Springs, talking about how we would deal with that. You know, I always knew that when I hit 20 years, I'd retire, and we'd go wherever she went, because she was a career officer. I mean, she was legitimately, you know, a dedicated resource. You know, it was more important to me that she was happy and doing her job. So I retired, and we went back to the DC area, and she worked for the Defense Logistics Agency. I loved my jobs. I love being in the Air Force. It's wonderful, you know, serving